So I'm sure you've been seeing words like recession, crash, depression, real estate crash just like 2008. And that's exactly why you clicked on this video, because you want to know before you make a move anywhere, or better yet, before you buy anything, you want to make sure that you're actually buying not on the downside, but more or less on the upside. So you want to know, is Raleigh's real estate market going down? Is it on the verge of crashing? Well, in this video today, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. So you're going to want to stick around for this. What's going on, everybody? It's Ronnie Polynice here. If this is your first time on this channel, make sure to hit the like, subscribe, and the bell so you are notified every time I do a video with you, sharing with you exactly what it's like to live, eat, sleep, play, all in Raleigh, North Carolina. Just as much as I enjoy making those videos, I am a licensed realtor here. So if you do have any real estate needs, please give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. I love getting these phone calls from individuals like yourself who is looking to relocate and just maybe need a little bit more information, or better yet, you actually need the help to help you with that transition. And this is what I do. You know, I get phone calls all the time and I absolutely love it. So I'm looking forward to yours as well. But with that being said, let's get after and figure out, is the Raleigh real estate market on the verge of crashing, or is it crashing already? So I'm actually going to make a comment before I go deep dive into, you know, just the real estate market here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And you're probably going to look at what I'm saying as biased because I am a licensed realtor here.
He just admitted he's biased.
But if you're on the verge, or if you're anything like myself, which is I'm preaching what I practice, what I preach, I tell all my clients, especially those that come across me and say, hey, I'm actually looking to build wealth. I know real estate is the way. How do I do it? And this is exactly what I preach to my clients, despite what everybody is saying. Now, you're going to hear a ton of, don't buy real estate now. It's the worst time to buy. You're going to hear that. Don't be afraid of it. It's just what people like to do. It's the best way for you guys to click and for them to, you know, do whatever it is that they're trying to do. You got to see past that, because ultimately what you have to understand is you have a goal, you have a plan, and you got to stick by that. You can't let the naysayers here and there distract you from your goal, because all you're going to really hear is, don't buy real estate, blah, 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 blah.
Blah, 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 blah.
It's just the nature of, you know, the marketing, the world that we live in, and that's what you're going to hear. But in all honesty, if you're purchasing for your own sake, whether it's to build wealth, whether it's your primary residence, whatever the case may be, especially if it's your primary residence, you should not care about what anybody is doing. You should look at everything in your situation, in your scenario, look at the numbers. Does it make sense? Because if it truly indeed makes sense to you and your numbers and how you're going to operate and how you're going to live your life, then what everybody else says has zero impact, or at least it should have zero impact on you. Because we all need a roof over our head, right? Now, if you're an investor, now you're probably looking at what I'm saying is like, yeah, this guy is crazy.
Do not listen to him. He is crazy.
And you're probably absolutely right, because you're in the business of making money. You already have a roof over your head as an investor. So yes, maybe this isn't the best time to buy, or maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe there's deals everywhere and every opportunity. You just ultimately have to find it. And as an investor, that's of course what you're looking for. So maybe this video might share with you a little bit of information about what's going on in Raleigh, North Carolina, so that you could see, well, maybe are there real deals or opportunities out there? Huh. I don't know. We'll just have to see. So yes, as we all know, inflation has been one of the biggest battles that everybody has been fighting with.
Inflation is obviously a serious problem.
Not only you guys as homeowners, or even as people who actually have to purchase things for their households, but builders have been dealing with it. Our federal chairman, Jerome Powell, been dealing with it. It's just been a battle for everybody. And I think because of the battle that it has to take on the toll of everyone, essentially, that's what's allowing the demand to slow down. That's what's allowing the supply to continuously increase here in Raleigh, North Carolina. And that's what's allowing builders to really take a extreme overlook at what they're doing and kind of seeing, like, does it make sense to even continue to build? Because again, if rates are going up, there's less buyers in the market. And if there's no buyers in the market and the builders are building, there's no inventory to sell. And that's not gonna be good for the builders at all. Now you may be thinking, well, how does it affect home builders? Well, I mean, let's just simply say the supplies. If they're spending X amount of money on supplies, those dollars just ultimately translate right to the consumer, whoever's a home buyer at that point. So, you know, obviously you have to regulate that up to a certain point, because then if it's too high, no one's gonna buy it. No one's like, yeah, right, you're crazy. You gotta be out of your mind for me to spend that kind of dollar on that kind of thing. So at least what I've been seeing here in the Raleigh area, I've been seeing a little slowdown with residential construction. Now I'm gonna say that very clear, because I want you guys to understand there's still a lot of building going on. There's still a lot of construction going on throughout the state in itself. However, now it's been a little bit more geared towards commercial real estate is where the builders have been building. So they've been looking at those apartment complexes, well, not so much multifamily, because that doesn't really exist here. However, that's where all the construction, that's where all the time, the supplies, the money is really going to right now at this moment. And that's simply because the buyer demand is slowing down there on the residential side. So as the buyer's traffic has been slowing down a ton, obviously construction on the residential side has done so as well, which ultimately means, like, okay, well, what happened to the constructions? What happened to those properties that they were already working on? Because again, it was a lot of them. Those prices have come down as well. Not only have those prices come down, a lot of home builders have now offered us a ton of concessions. I wanted to say the S word there, but you know, I'm gonna keep this PG here, but a ton of concessions. So that is something that you could really look into to see if it's maybe an option for you to look at new construction rather than a resale property, because you know, who is really giving you a bang for your buck is essentially what you're gonna look at this current moment. And it's so weird how things actually happen and how the world works and how the money moves, because if I were to show you the seasonality of moving seasons, it all falls in line. You know, it's like the demand is slowing down, and it's pretty much what aligns with what exactly has been what history has shown it to be. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know if this is coincidence or if this is all planned, but it's pretty weird. When I saw this, I was like, man, I don't know what this really means, but this is something to really look into. But as I mentioned already, we're getting a decrease within the demand in terms of buyers. So what happens to builders? Builders are no longer putting out homes like they were at rapid speed beforehand. If anything, they're offering concessions. They're reducing their price to entice buyers to go ahead and buy that new construction that they maybe even already worked on, or maybe a buyer just financing fell through. I'm not sure, but something that you can look at, especially if you're looking in the Raleigh, North Carolina market. But this is why you give us a call, you shoot us a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. It's because we're following the real estate market really closely. I mean, this is what I do. I eat, breathe, and play this thing 24 hours out the day. So if you really want to know anything that's going on with real estate, go ahead and give me a call, shoot me a text, email, and I got your back. I'll give you the information that you're looking for, or maybe something that you actually need. You know, as a result of inflation, you know, obviously the rates have been rising. And that is really what a lot of people have been paying attention to, because ultimately what every home buyer, or at least everyone, looks at whenever they're buying anything is that price, that dollar amount that they're spending every single month, and the interest rates directly impact it. And of course, inflation had to do something with the interest rates going up. So that right there has caused a lot of people to slow down and everything. And this is, again, I'm going to repeat myself, but the interest rates rising has forced a lot of people, a lot of sellers at least, builders and sellers, to reduce their price, because they realize, all right, not only is people paying well over asking price no more, if anything, people are more interested in sitting back and waiting for the market to do some sort of crash or turn, like everybody has been saying.
Unfortunately, the financing fell through and the real estate crashed and the whole place went down the toilet.
However, interest rates rising has forced a lot of them, again, a lot of people, to reduce the price. Now, I've seen, I would say, a 5% decrease. So whatever dollar amount, whatever purchase amount that you're actually looking at, just subtract 5% off of that, and that's ideally what has been happening in the Raleigh market. Now, I don't know, it may pick up, it may slow down. I typically see, again, this time being a bit of a slower time, so that could be another reason why. It probably has nothing to do with the interest rates, and I'm probably crazy for even talking about this right now.
Yeah, you're crazy, Jar Jar.
But it could just be the seasonality of everything, and everyone's just decreasing their prices because maybe there are some hungry buyers or sellers, sorry, maybe there's some hungry sellers out there that are truly trying to get out their property. So now they're like, all right, I got to get this out of my hand, so I'm going to continuously decrease my price so that I can entice buyers to really look at my home, my listing, so that I can get out of this home and move on with my life. Also, not only that, but if you're really looking into the Raleigh market or anything around it, look to see, not only are they decreasing their prices, but are the sellers offering any sort of concessions? Now, if they're not offering any concessions, that is okay. Because the one thing that you could really do is you can, when you make that offer, and this is what I do with a lot of my clients, you know, I understand their scenario, I understand the situations, and we try to make it work for everybody. But in the end, hey, if you need out of your property and I have a buyer here that's willing to make an offer on it, where can we meet in the middle? And that's then to go seek for some of those concessions there. Now, this is what I do, right? So, of course, give me a call, shoot me a text, email, and I got your back. We're going to make sure that we get you where you need to be, when you need to be, and the scenario that you need to be, so that you're not put in a situation where you're in the long term and the long haul, you're hurt or you're regretting a decision like that. You know, in addition to the higher interest rates and what has been going on, really, and you really look at it from this perspective. I mean, just a couple of years ago, it was literally the entire world making offers on homes. You know, real estate was the talk of the town. Now, real estate still is the talk of the town, but it's more on the downside. So now it's kind of like pushing people away from it. But beforehand, obviously, a couple of years ago, we had interest rates extremely low. So everyone's purchased houses. Like, it was houses going off the market like hotcakes, literally. And so with that scenario there, what was really going on? And I really want to paint this picture for you guys, because I really want you guys to understand, especially as a buyer today, what you have, what leverage that you have, because I don't think a lot of people understand it. Just a couple of years ago, you had literally people getting, maybe let's just say, a dozen offers within the first 24 or 48 hours of the home being listed. You had people putting 4 to 5 figures of due diligence money down. Not only that, but you have people putting maybe their savings in offers over asking price. That is no longer happening. And if it's happening, it's not happening to that magnitude, right? You're probably still getting a couple of offers, because again, this is an area where people are moving every single day, but it's not to the point where you're literally forced. You're not forced to put 4 to 5 figures, throw everything on the table. It's almost like everybody a couple of years ago were going all chips in. Like, you know, you went to the dealer table, or better yet, you went to the roulette table and you put all of it on zero. It's like almost everybody was doing that. But now you don't have to do that. You have options. You actually have people decreasing their price. So you have, maybe, as you guys may call it, a bargain. You also don't have to put down a ton of due diligence, and you don't have to worry about the appraisal coming back and you're like, oh my gosh, is this going to even appraise? Because that's what everyone was doing. Going well over asking puts you at a extreme risk of this property not appraising, and now you got to come up with additional cash to cover that gap. I mean, it was a zoo back then. Now it's not. It's more calm, it's more steady, it's more settled. So if you're in that situation where you're on the sideline and you're like, man, you know, I understand that rates can turn, don't wait for rates. If rates turn, just refinance. You have that ability as well. And I'm not a mortgage lender, but I understand how real estate operates. If you want to know exactly what you would be paying, what would be the scenario in terms of how much the rate would be, your best bet is to reach out to a local lender. And if you don't have one, give me a call, shoot me a text, email, and I'll connect you with the preferred one. However, you need to understand these numbers. The numbers is going to dictate and tell you a lot. And you can maybe put yourself in a better scenario, depending on, of course, what your goal is. I don't know. I would love to know. But there's opportunity for you. And that's really what I wanted to paint here. I wanted to paint that picture just to let you know. There's opportunity for you. You currently have leverage. And 2 years ago, all the sellers had the leverage. So now that you have leverage, you can move at your pace, as you should. And you can do the things that's gonna help better your life, your scenario. Because that's ultimately what I'm here to do. That's ultimately what you should be trying to do. And so if you need help with that, go ahead. You know exactly what to do. I'm not going to repeat it. So can I see prices really continuously go down It depends on what really happens in the world. I mean, if I had that crystal ball, and if any of you have that crystal ball, please share it with me, because I think this can help a lot of people. I'll be willing to share this thing with all the information that comes with that crystal ball, but I don't know. I could see, yes, I'm sure if the environment of where we're at today continues to just get worse, then yes, I could definitely see prices continuously decrease. Now, am I anticipating a crash, which a crash is like 20%? That I personally do not see for the remainder of the year. I'm just gonna put that out there now. So if you're hoping for a crash in the Raleigh real estate market, then you might want to look somewhere else, because I personally do not think it's gonna happen here. And the reason why I say that is because there are a ton of people moving here still. There are a ton of jobs still relocating to the south, Raleigh specifically, or at least the triangle in itself. So I don't really see much really volatile or even a deep discount, because there's people here that are still moving here. And if there are people still moving, that means there are people still making offers. I still have buyers waiting. I still have buyers that I'm looking for right now as we speak. So yeah, you may be sitting on the sideline, but trust me, somebody else is not waiting on the sideline. They're actually taking action to make sure that they have their plans and their goals and whatever they have in their expectations sealed. And that's what you should be doing as well. Don't hold back just because you hear all the naysayers say, real estate is gonna crash, oh my God, it's not free. No. You gotta live your life, guys. With this fear of like a potential recession, I mean, a lot of homes now are lasting a little bit longer on the market. And as I've already explained, and you know why, it's just no one's buying these homes. Everyone is trying to sell it because maybe they're a little late to the party. But now everyone's trying to sell it and no one's actually buying it. But if you were to really look, listing prices at the height of July 2022 is currently down about 5%. So take that number and kind of run with it in terms of what's going to work with you. Just look at the purchase price, take 5%, subtract that, and there goes your number in terms of where the market has been going in Raleigh, North Carolina. Trust me, you don't want to be a fearful cat. Not in this market, not what's going to come, not what the future holds. And I don't know what the future holds, but if you're on, like I said, this wealth building plan strategy, you'll be fine. You'll be just fine. At the end of the day, we all need a roof over our heads, right? In conclusion, to end things off, I know I did a lot of rambling, but I really feel like a lot of people don't understand what's in front of them. The market has literally shifted to a buyer's market now. Now, it may not be on the long term of a buyer's market because our supply levels are still extremely low, but in the short term, yes, we are literally in a buyer's market. I watch these numbers, I keep track of these numbers all the time. So whoever wants to argue me, please, let's argue it, because I'm more than happy to have this argument and to show you that the data states right now, and like, let's just say in the short term, we are in a buyer's market. So as a buyer, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna take advantage of it, or are you gonna let somebody else take advantage of it? Now, if you're not sure, how can you take advantage of it? I am a licensed realtor here. My number's gonna pop up right there. Make sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, email, day or night, heck, maybe even on the weekends. I got your back in this market, and we're gonna figure out where does your opportunity lie, because there is opportunity everywhere for everyone. Now let's go and get it. Peace out.